right, everybody, welcome to another What's What BR. We have Blythe from WRKF. She is here with us. She is in underwriting, correct? Is that
Yes,
the term?
the underwriting representative, which sounds like I sell insurance, but it's actually corporate support. We're a nonprofit station, so we don't sell advertising, we sell underwriting.
Gotcha. So it's not insurance. You're not the underwriter at the bank, because we all are looking for loans right now. We don't come find you there.
No, could not help you.
Complete opposite of the way. When we find you, we need to give you, some money to underwrite content.
That's right. Yes.
So
A little bit about WRKF. We are the NPR station for Baton Rouge. So we've been around for 40 years, and NPR is a source for content. It's news throughout not only the nation but the world. We have reporters all over the place, and so WRKF is actually a member station of NPR, and so we air their content, and then in addition to that, we produce local content.
that's awesome. And you guys are right there off of College Drive, right?
Correct. Yep.
Right in the middle of town and right in the middle of everything. So tell me, with all of the crazy, you look like you're at home, not at a radio station. So
yeah.
You guys are obviously distributed, what I've been calling isolation separation. So how is that kind of working for everybody right now when you've got a radio station to operate?
Yeah, so we have, our station is really small. We probably have, about 7 employees. And obviously we have on-air people. So we have our morning edition host, Karen Henderson, who comes in from like 5 to 9:30 or so. And then we have our All Things Considered host who comes in the afternoons. And so, they have to be there. They can't do that remotely. But, I'm in sales, and so I can do that from anywhere. And so our front office people, early on, probably March 16th or so, we've kind of just figured out how to all operate from home so that when our people who had to be in the station came in, there was just less risk of, contact with other people. So it's been going pretty well, actually. We kind of email each other like, hey, we need to, go into the office real quick. Is anybody gonna be there? And so we kind of work it out that way. But yeah, I haven't had a problem at all with it. And so, and our on-air people are happy that we're not there.
Yep, they're able to get in, do what they want, and get out, right?
Yeah, so. Absolutely. And so we also have, reporters, and I think for them, it's been a little bit trickier. They have equipment and stuff so they can record from home. So I've heard that they've, closed themselves in closets, put sheets over their heads, and done all the things to kind of try to help with the sound. But they're making it work as well.
I was talking to someone the other day, and I heard one of the best things, the tips you can give them. I'm not a sound person, and obviously we can tell by this production quality, I don't know what I'm doing, but sitting in a room with the door closed in what they call a weighted blanket. They have these like weighted blankets. They're like, you buy them and they might be like as a 25-pound blanket. And it's not meant for this. It's meant people just want the weight, I guess, when they sleep. But someone was telling me they put it over themselves and they sat there, and recorded their podcast, the whole time with a weighted blanket. So,
I'll share that. I've seen infomercials or whatever for these things. It sounds horrible. Why would you want somebody sitting on you?
Yeah, it's like being smothered your whole time you're sleeping. I don't get it either.
Yeah.
So tell me, for everybody who doesn't know, the NPR, the programming, you guys, this is full-blown radio. This is all day. The station, how do they find it, right here in Baton Rouge?
So we are on the dial at 89.3. We also stream the station at our website at wrkf.org. But it's a 24/7 operation. We have a local program that airs weekdays from 9 to 10. That's the Jim Inkster Show, and or Talk Louisiana with Jim Inkster. And it's produced here. Jim interviews, local lawmakers, people in the community who were, helping with this whole, really coronavirus is on top of everybody's mind right now, right? And so his show, because it's calling, gives people the opportunity to ask questions and, really kind of get down to, what's on their mind and what are they concerned about, and actually speak with these people. The other thing we do is we air Ask the Governor with John Bell Edwards. And so that's actually going to air today. What's today? Wednesday, the 15th. So it airs monthly, but 2 p.m. And so John Bell gets on air and people get to ask him anything they want to ask him, which I think is really cool of him.
That sounds like it'd be a fun job to be a screener today. When that happens, I'm sure there is a number of people that have really got some questions for that man. So
yeah, it's interesting. And look, he's a tough guy because he takes them all, and sometimes they're not easy questions.
Wow, I would not want to be in those shoes right now. So.
Yeah.
Tell me, that's interesting. So I can imagine traffic is up for you guys, web traffic, listeners, radio, all streaming, everything. That's everybody I talk to. Just digital is up, all over the place. I read a statistic the other day. The latest was usually people were spending around like 2.3 hours, on social media and streaming, and it's now moved to like 7.8 was the last I heard. And that's like, that is incredible. Like, what are people doing? They're sitting at home just doing that.
I'm guilty of that for sure. Yes. So actually, NPR is a trusted source of news and information. During times of crisis and, major news events throughout the country, people really tune to their public radio stations. And so, yes, listening is definitely up for us. We, have local reporters. So not only are we hearing how this is affecting New York, or what's going on in Italy and Spain, but we have reporters on the ground in New Orleans. And so we're getting a lot of, firsthand information straight out of New Orleans. And so we post those stories on our Facebook and on our website. I think our website from, March of 2019 to this past March had over a 200% increase in visitors. So listening through our streams is all up. And then just the Facebook interactions. We would get people who would like or comment or share every now and then, but right now, like all of our stories are being interacted with. So yeah, it's a big time for public radio because of the time that, NPR stations really take with their stories. They're, vetted and truthful, and that you're not getting a lot of this fake news that's kind of run rampant, unfortunately.
I've seen a lot. That's what the first thing I was thinking, when you were saying, boots on the ground, in New Orleans. And then I was thinking, you're not in a high pressure cooker newsroom where it's like, we just have to, push something out. Obviously we want to get it out of town timely, but like you said, it can be vetted, it's trusted, it's people, it's not some tweet that someone put out, of something happening and somebody just takes it and runs with it and does we'll ask for forgiveness rather than permission, which happens way too often these days. So
absolutely.
I think
we try not to be sound bites. We try to be actual long form informational stories.
More steak, less sizzle.
I like it.
So tell me, how is, we're all in the space, we're working with, whether it's, underwriting, advertising, sales, there's a culture out there. What are you seeing with, your underwriters, other people call advertisers? I've heard, the space has been hit hard. Obviously, a lot of people are, wondering where that is, or are you still able to, are you reaching, underwriters or advertisers? Are they talking? Are you hearing, what do you hear kind of boots on the ground, from your side of the table?
Early on, kind of in the beginning, it was just really reaching out to our current underwriters and making sure, first of all, that they were doing okay. And, and then helping them form messages that were, pertinent to what's going on right now, just making sure that it fit the tone of the time. And so, we have a lot of nonprofits who underwrite on the station. So obviously those, the museums and, the symphony and the concerts, the plays, they've all, have been canceled. And so those people have come off the station. But as far as, day-to-day businesses, you know, B2B businesses, like they're all still operating. I mean, business is still happening in town. And so I think it's more important now to let people know what it is you're doing and how your business is adjusting to continue to serve your clients and customers. And so, you know, we haven't had a whole lot of new people come on, you know, because I think people are kind of trying to figure out, you know, what's happening. And, but it sounds like, you know, the people that I've spoken to are not pulling their advertising campaigns as much as just kind of, you know, tailoring it to fit what's going on currently.
I've been telling, I've spoken with a lot of our, you know, advertisers as well, and we're not seeing it either. You know, a lot of that, just the vacuum. It's not just kind of drying up and running. We do see people that are waiting, but one thing I've been, you know, talking to people about is, you know, our lives are completely different. Our businesses are completely different. The way we do business is completely different. And we have to communicate that out to people. That's one of the reasons why we started, you know, What's What VR here, is to give people a format to where, you know, we can get information out. This is unscripted. You know, we don't know, you know, how things, you know, are going to go, but it's an easy way for people to continue business because it's still happening out there. This is the time we all pivot as companies and see, you know, one, first and foremost, how can we help, you know, and two, you know, what we can do, you know, for our community, you know, and our advertisers and our employees and everyone. So I think it's good to hear. It's reassuring. I'm hearing a lot of that. I don't hear it a lot of other places, but, you know, getting down to the 1-to-1, the 1-to-6, you know, conversations, the panels, hearing that, yes, people are, it's changed the message, adapt a little bit different, or let's educate in this area. So it's doing well, you know. I think
the other thing is, you know, I mean, obviously this is a very difficult time, you know, but I would say there's a lot of positive that's coming out of it. I mean, there are businesses who are really changing the way they do things. Like, you know, just think, for instance, like, you know, we have museums who cannot be open, but like West Baton Rouge Museum, LSU Museum of Art, Baton Rouge Gallery, Louisiana Old State Capitol, all of these people, even though their doors are not open, you can go to their websites, and now they have these virtual tours. They're doing, you know, like really cool things for kids, you know, like art projects. Baton Rouge Gallery has this like flat curve gallery where you submit the art that you've created during this time. And so while, you know, we're socially distancing right now, I think, you know, it's really bringing communities together, you know, in a way that we haven't been together.
I think I think there's gonna be a lot of positive on the other end of this. You know, we've got people, we're spending time with our families more, we're learning to connect more. I've actually even heard, I've got a really good friend who owns some publications over in Los Angeles, and he was like, Brandon, I can go to my office and I can see clearly the city, like literally some of the, you know, the pollution. He's like, it's leaving, you know, he's like, I get a clear view. I've never seen it so nice. But to be able to spend the time with our families, and then for us businesses to learn that, you know, when we can look back and go, man, we made it a month, we made it 6 weeks with sending people home, and they worked, you know, and they did their jobs, and they got on Zoom and they did things. Wouldn't that just make for a better quality of life if we all came back and was like, you know what, hey, Friday afternoons or Friday, you know, pick a date, you know, stay home. It's not that, you know, you don't, when you one day out of the office doesn't mean you lose 20% productivity, you know, at the end of the day. So I think we're all learning, and I've done Zoom for years and a number of different businesses I've had. But in locally with a lot of local businesses I've worked with, never could I like, hey, let's jump on a Zoom. You know, heck, you and I, you know, work together. We've known each other for years and we've never done a Zoom until today. But it's like in 6 weeks, I could send you an email like, hey, let's hop on Zoom. You know, I'm tied up, but I just need 15 minutes to talk about a project. You know, that's a normal thing, you know, now.
Absolutely. Actually, since Zoom has become like so on the forefront, I was actually talking to an attorney and, you know, finally taking care of wills and stuff. But anyway, he was like, hey, can we like get together real quick? And I'm like, okay, like in person, or do you want to Zoom? He was like, can we just talk on the phone? I was like, oh yeah, that's an option.
Exactly. I think I've been in the tech space, you know, for years also, but one of the things that we always say, you know, you've made it in the tech space when your company becomes a verb. And so when, you know, you need to, you know, let me Google it, or, let's Zoom is an option. And yeah, that's the same thing. I did that the other day with somebody. One of my staff was like, "Hey, can we talk at 3:00?" And I was like, "Okay." And then at like 3:05, I sent a message. I'm like, "Hey, are you getting on the Zoom?" They were like, "I was waiting on you to call." And I was like, "Oh, the phone." Exactly.
Yeah.
That's just so archaic, it seems like, but no.
Right. And
So
then just like also like the happy hours, like how
yeah,
many are you doing this? Like the happy hours with your friends where you just, I guess,
we
after
did
meeting
one with
face
some
to face.
friends the other night. We did some, I think we were trying to do one with some of the staff. One of the best that I've heard that has been incredibly fun, and I've told my staff we were doing it and I forgot about it, but everyone doing, when kind of bringing together, and they're doing a show and tell, because you're at home, you got
Uh-huh.
all of your neat things, and so it's to bring something in and show everybody and tell, and everybody goes around,
Yeah.
you get to know a little bit about your coworkers. I did it with one group, and this one guy was like, he brought something from China, and I was like, you've been there? He's like, I lived there. I had no idea. So
That's cool. Yeah,
it
I have a
was
friend who, her company, so they try to do something several times a week, and one of their meetings is a family hour. So like you have your kids with you, or your husband can be there, and so you get to like meet the family members and stuff. So again, things that we probably, would never do in our normal business setting. And
I saw, I forget who, I think it was, I didn't get the whole story. It was quickly, I saw it briefly this morning. There's a company that they do, like, they sell llamas, and I guess that's a business because you got to get a llama, and, so somebody somewhere selling llamas, but obviously that, from what I understand, the llama business is being impacted with COVID-19, but they've gotten creative.
uh-huh.
And for like $100, you can invite a llama to your Zoom, and they have a camera, and it's just to lighten up
Okay.
the mood. You've got a llama that's, part of your, meeting with everyone.
Yeah,
So
that's funny.
never would have thought it in all my life.
Best $100 you'll ever spend.
And you're helping, the llama farmer, veterinarian, whatever he tends to be. And
Yeah.
so it
Yeah.
sounds like things are good. WRKF, we've got some good, unbiased, non-pressure cooker, content, vetted content from people on the ground. You're
That's
still
good.
talking with underwriters, hearing good things. So the sky's not falling as fast. Maybe it's not good
Yeah.
times. I'm not making light of it by any means, but
Yeah.
it's also, I think it's important to hear that there are, some good things still happening out there.
I think so. And the other thing I think right now is that people are really concerned about our economy. They're concerned about our local businesses. And so I see a lot of, community support for local businesses. And so I hope there's, that shift as, we go back into normal life, that people are more mindful about who they're buying from, and that, we stay with this desire to support the businesses in our community.
Absolutely. I've talked with so many restaurant owners and people, and to, hear, some of these guys, these owners are in the kitchen, cooking themselves,
Mhm.
and giving the money back, to their staff that, can't do anything. And so I think it
Yeah.
gives a whole new meaning to the term that everybody loosely tosses around, but, shop local, we always say it
Mhm.
and we try to say it, but I think that's more important now, really than ever, to really help, with our community and what these people are doing to keep people on payroll, and to keep, you're fighting as business owners to keep people on payroll, readapt and pivot your business at the same time, to find in other people to help. And I think that's what we found. That's what, we try to do here, on the what's what, to bring awareness, to let people know, that if they've got a message that they want to get out, that they can get in touch with you, and you can get
Mhm.
it out, to your audience. It it reminds me the old quote from Zig Ziglar: "You can get anything you want in life as long as you help enough other people get what they want first." So
I like that. Yeah.
might have butchered it a little bit, but I think the concept is there. But I think that's, I've had I've always, always kind of lead with, how can I help? And I think if,
Mhm.
with us all with that mindset of how can we help, I think we all get through this,
Absolutely.
and so, well,
Yeah.
anything else you can think that we need to, let the world know, because we have their
Well,
attention?
That's
Everyone.
frightening. Yeah, so I think I would just say, obviously I work in news, and so I hear all the time, like what's happening, like we're hearing the numbers, and sometimes it can just feel a little daunting. But I think, there are still people out there who they're looking for other things. They're looking for happy things. They're looking for things to do. And, there are a lot of businesses out there who can help them. They are, you can take their minds off of the doom and the gloom, and just kind of help them have some normalcy. And so I think it's just.
Yeah, I think it's good sometimes to turn it off. I can't remember. I did it years ago. I might ought to do it again in the near future. I went and added up like all of like your major media, sites, and then your major media channels, and was like, it was something like we had, 200 something live hours of news in a 24-hour day, and so it's like you sometimes just turning it off, go outside. I love it in my neighborhood in the evenings. We get out with kids and we go, ride bikes, and it's like, we used to do it like once in a blue moon. I actually got my twins got the training wheels off. They learned to ride bikes. And so we would go before with the training wheels, now without them. But it's like we're running into traffic jams. People are getting out. They're walking around, it's like they're on the sidewalk. We've got to get off. And so I think that's important. It's people are getting back to I think maybe it's almost like this is a good way for everybody to realize that, hey, we can slow down just a little bit. We can ease off. So, well, look, I appreciate the time, here as things change. I think we can begin if you want. It's been fun, trying to, get the story of what's going on. You've got an audience that is incredibly large. So if anybody's listening, you've got a message to get out, get in touch with Blythe. She can help you. It's amazing, what you guys do over there, and especially with the size team that you have. So.
Yes, we're tiny but mighty.
Tiny but mighty. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, I will give you back time in your day. Got the busy office running behind you. It looks like over there. So
I'm surprised my kid hasn't come and grabbed a snack yet. So
I get them every now and then. They bulk behind, and it's like, you know what? We're just going to allow that to run, and that's what's happening in everyone else's life.
Yeah, it's life. Well, I'm just happy I got through this Zoom without one of those Zoom fails. So
yeah. Well, hopefully the recording turned out well for us. So, all right. Until next time, everybody. Thank you for being a part of this, Blythe. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And if anybody wants to take part, let us know. We're happy to talk to whoever we can. Everybody have a good day. Stay safe.
Take care.